There is a moment, and most people have had it, though very few will admit to it, when you are holding everything together so tightly, for so long, that you don't notice the holding anymore. It just becomes who you are, the man who manages, the man who shows up, the man who has the packed lunches ready the night before, and the PE kit located, and the bedtime story read, and the school run done, and the contractor email answered before 9. The man whose life, from the outside, looks like a thing running exactly as it should. Martin Walsh was that man. He was very, very good at being that man. He was also, on a Tuesday morning in March, on the 8:31 from Stockport to Manchester Piccadilly, about to discover that being very good at holding everything together is not the same as being fine. The train was running 16 minutes late. It was always running 16 minutes late. Martin had stopped keeping track of this and started factoring it in. The same way he had learned to factor in most things in his life that were not ideal but were not changeable. You adjust. You absorb. You keep the schedule running. He had his window seat, second carriage, phone open. The morning's administration already begun. A message from his mother, an email from a contractor, a note from Tom's football coach about Saturday. He did not look out of the window. There was nothing he needed from the window. He was perfectly, completely, exhaustingly fine. Then his daughter called. Rosie Walsh is 12 years old. She had been at school for 23 minutes. She was crying in the way that 12-year-olds cry when the world has just revealed itself to be considerably less safe than they were led to believe. Not loudly, not dramatically, but with the specific, steady persistence of a child who needs something specific and has not yet received it. Martin tried. He tried 3 different ways in 90 seconds. None of them worked. He was increasingly publicly aware, making it worse. The carriage around him was full of morning commuters. Coats, bags, phones, the collective polite fiction of people pretending not to hear a man struggle. Martin kept his voice low and his face forward and tried a 4th approach. Still nothing. Then the woman sitting across from him looked up from her book. She had been reading with the focused attention of someone who was genuinely elsewhere. Dark-haired, late 30s, the expression of a person who had been politely and successfully ignoring the phone call happening 2 feet away. She looked up. She leaned forward slightly. She said quietly, "Tell her you're on her side first. The rest can wait." Martin looked at her for half a second, turned back to the phone, said, "Rosie, listen to me. I am completely on your side." The crying stopped. In 5 years of being a father, in 3 years of being a single father, of doing every part of this alone, of showing up and managing and holding the line, nobody had ever said those 8 words to Martin Walsh at this exact moment he needed them. Tell her you're on her side first. Not a parenting expert, not a book, not a well-meaning relative with 15 minutes of advice. A stranger on a train, on a Tuesday morning in March, running 16 minutes late. This is the story of what happened after she looked up from her book. And why, 6 months later, in a kitchen full of toast and radio and a 12-year-old narrating a dream about a talking fish, Martin Walsh would think about that Tuesday morning and understand that the best things that ever happened to him arrived when he wasn't looking for them. But before we get to the kitchen, before we get to September and the Saturday mornings and everything that grew from a 20-minute train journey, you need to understand who Martin Walsh was the morning that stranger looked up. You need to understand what he was carrying and how long he had been carrying it alone. Something in him that 11 years of being strong never could. Welcome back, Story Family. And if you're new here, hey, we're glad you found us. Make sure you subscribe, like, and drop a comment before you leave. New stories hit this channel all the time, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. And after you watch, tell us what you thought. Your comment might be exactly what someone else needed to hear today. So don't hold back. Let's talk about it. Stockport, Tuesday, March. The sky outside the bedroom window at 6:58 a.m. is the specific gray bright of a northern English morning that cannot make up its mind. Not quite winter, not yet spring. The kind of light that gives you nothing to work with and expects you to get on with it anyway. Martin is already up. He has been up since 6:40. He is always up since 6:40. This is not a decision he makes every morning. It is simply what happens, the way the routine has calcified over 3 years into something that runs without requiring him to think about it. Which is, he has discovered the only way to run a thing like this. You stop thinking. You just move. The kitchen first. Kettle on. Bread in the toaster. 2 slices for Tom, 1.5 for Rosie. Because Rosie has views about the half slice that are detailed and consistent, and which Martin understood were non-negotiable approximately 2 years ago and has not tested since. The packed lunches are already done. Assembled the night before, labeled in the fridge. This is the one rule Martin has never broken. If the lunches are not done the night before, the morning becomes a different kind of morning. The kind that leaves marks. He doesn't let the morning become that kind. Tom comes down at 7:12 without being called. He is 14 years old and has the specific self-sufficiency of a boy who has been quietly, carefully paying attention to how his father operates and has decided, without anyone asking him to make himself as manageable as possible. He sits at the table, eats, checks his own bag, does not require anything that hasn't already been provided. Martin watches him sometimes. The quick, efficient morning movements of a 14-year-old who grew up faster than he should have needed to, and feels something so large and so complicated that he has never found a name for it. He doesn't look for the name. He makes the tea. Rosie comes down at 7:24. She has opinions about the toast. The opinions today concern the precise ratio of butter to surface area, which she communicates with the focused seriousness of someone lodging a formal complaint. Martin listens, adjusts, presents the revised toast. Rosie examines it. She accepts it. This negotiation takes 4 minutes, and Martin conducts it with the patience of a man who has learned that 4 minutes on toast saves 20 minutes on everything else. By 7:50, the kitchen is cleared. By 8:05, both children are in coats, bags on, standing at the front door of a terraced house on Caldwell Street that Martin chose. Deliberately, specifically, without sentimentality, because it is 2 streets from the school. Everything in Martin Walsh's life since Emma left has been chosen for manageability. The house, the job, the routine, everything positioned to reduce the margin for error. Because when you are the only adult, margin for error is the one thing you cannot afford. The school gate at 8:15. Tom goes first. He walks through without looking back, not because he doesn't care, but because he is a boy who has learned that his father will be there at the end of the day, and has simply, completely internalized this as a fact of the world. That confidence, that unexamined certainty, is the thing Martin is most proud of in his entire life, and he will never say so to anyone. Then Rosie. She stops at the gate, turns around, and waves with both hands. Both of them, every finger, her whole small body involved in the communication of it. In the way she has waved since she was old enough to wave. Since before she understood what waving meant. Since it was just a thing she did because she saw people do it. And now it is simply who she is. Martin raises his hand. She turns and goes inside. He stands at the gate for 1 second longer than he needs to. That exchange, 30 seconds both hands wave, his raised hand, is the best 30 seconds of every day. He knows this. He does not say it to anyone. He turns and walks to the station. The 8:31 is already on the platform when he arrives. He boards. Second carriage. Window seat on the left, which puts the morning light behind him rather than in his face. Another decision refined over 3 years of this specific commute until it became automatic. He sits down, opens his phone, and here is the texture of Martin Walsh's life, visible in the notifications of a Tuesday morning at 8:22 a.m. A message from his mother. Confirmed for Thursday pickup. Love, Mum. Which she sends every week, despite Martin never once failing to remember Thursday pickup. Because she is a woman who expresses love through confirmation, and he has stopped telling her it isn't necessary. An email from a contractor with a query that needs a response before 9. Not urgent, just present. The way things in Martin's life are always present. Never catastrophic, never stopping, just there, needing something, at all hours. A message from Tom's football coach about Saturday fixtures. Martin opens the contractor email, starts typing, the train moves. The gray-bright Stockport morning slides past the window. And Martin does not look at it, because there is nothing he needs from the window, and there is a response that needs sending before 9 and the routine. As always, as reliably as the 831 itself, is already running. He is managing. He is, by every available measure, completely and entirely fine. At 8:47, his phone rings. Rosie. He stares at the screen for one confused second. She has been at school for 32 minutes. What could possibly? And then he answers. Because she is 12 years old, and she is calling, and the answer is always yes. He hears her voice. And everything he has spent 3 years building. The routine, the efficiency, the careful, practiced architecture of a man who has reduced his life to its most manageable form, suddenly, with the specific fragility of things that have been held too tightly for too long, begins to shake. Her voice is the first thing, small tight. The specific compression of a child who has been crying already and is now crying again at the sound of a familiar voice. The way children cry harder, briefly, when the person they needed finally arrives. Dad, just that, one word. But Martin has been a father for 14 years and a single father for 3, and he knows every frequency his daughter's voice operates at. And this one, this particular tight, swallowed, trying not to frequency, lands somewhere below his ribs before she has said anything else. Rosie. What's wrong, she tells him. It takes a while to get the full picture. There is a drawing, a horse. Rosie drew it in art this morning, and it took her a long time, and she was proud of it, and she showed it to Amelie, who is her best friend, and has been her best friend since reception, and who looked at the drawing and said, in front of everyone, in front of the whole table, that it looked like a dog. Told the whole class. The whole class. Martin processes this. He understands, with the part of his brain that operates in adult proportions, that this is not a crisis. It is a 12-year-old social world doing what 12-year-old social worlds do, imperfectly, publicly, with all the casual cruelty of people who do not yet understand that words have weight. He also understands, with the part of him that is Rosie's father, that the size of a wound is not measured by adult standards. It is measured by how much you trusted the person who made it. Rosie trusted Amelie completely. This is enormous. He tries the first thing. It's just a drawing, love. It doesn't matter what. It does matter, Dad. She is right. He adjusts. He tries the second thing. Maybe Amelie didn't mean it the way she did mean it. Everyone laughed. He adjusts again, faster this time. He tries the third thing. Something about how good this horse actually looks, which he has not seen but is willing to commit to. And even as he is saying it, he can hear it landing wrong. Can hear the specific flatness of a reassurance that arrived from the wrong direction. Can hear Rosie's crying continue with the steady, patient persistence of something that has not yet been given what it needs. He is going in circles. He can feel the carriage around him. The polite, collective fiction of 20 commuters pretending not to hear, and he keeps his voice low and his face forward, and he tries to think of the next thing to say. He doesn't have the next thing. The woman across from him looks up. She has been reading for the whole journey, a novel, the kind with a single striking image on the cover and a title in clean block type, held with the focused attention of someone who is genuinely elsewhere. She has been the most effectively absent person in the carriage, until now. She looks up. She looks at him. Not with pity. Not with the performance of concern, just with the direct, calm attention of someone who has assessed the situation in approximately 3 seconds and has arrived at a conclusion. She leans forward, slightly, just enough. Tell her you're on her side first, she says. The rest can wait quietly. No drama, no announcement of helpfulness, just the words. Martin looks at her for half a second. Then he turns back to the phone. Rosie, he says, listen to me. I am completely on your side. The crying doesn't stop immediately. It takes a few seconds, the way a storm takes a few seconds to understand that the conditions have changed. A few seconds of momentum. Then it slows. Then it stops. And in the space that opens after it, Martin finds the rest of the words. They were there all along. They just needed the right door. He tells her that what Amelie said wasn't kind. That she is allowed to feel hurt about it. That feeling hurt doesn't mean the friendship is over. It means the friendship is real enough to hurt. He tells her he will be at the gate at 3:15. That they will talk about it properly then. That in the meantime, she should find someone kind to sit next to at lunch. Rosie is quiet for a moment. "Okay, Dad," she says. She hangs up. Martin sits with the phone in his lap. The carriage carries on around him. The gray-bright landscape moves past the window. Someone 2 seats back typing something. The train rocks with its familiar 16 minutes late rhythm. He looks across at the woman. She has gone back to her book. "Thank you," he says. She looks up. Something in her expression, not surprise exactly, more like the acknowledgement of something she was expecting, settles into a small, easy smile. "My sister has girls," she says. "It's always the same first steps." "What's the second step?" Martin asks. She considers this with the seriousness it deserves. "Usually ice cream," she says. "But that's harder to arrange on a commuter train." Martin laughs, out loud, genuinely. Before 9 in the morning, he cannot remember the last time he did that. Her name is Kate Brennan. English teacher, secondary school. 3 stops down the line, divorced 2 years. She takes this train every Tuesday and Thursday. Has done for 18 months, she says, which means Martin has been on this same train on these same days for the same amount of time, and they have never once been in the same carriage. Until today. They talk for the remaining 11 minutes of the journey. It is easy in the specific way that conversations are easy when both people are, without knowing it yet, exactly the right kind of company for the other. No performance, no maintenance. Just the train and the conversation and wherever it goes. Which, in 11 minutes, is further than Martin expected. Piccadilly arrives before either of them is ready for it. Tuesday afternoon, Martin was at the school gate at 3:15. Rosie came out with the specific expression of a child who has processed something difficult and arrived, through the natural resilience of 12-year-olds, somewhere considerably better than where she started. The Amelie situation had, it transpired, resolved itself before lunch. There had been an apology. A negotiation over whose turn it was to be the horse in some game Martin didn't fully follow. A reconciliation so complete that by Wednesday morning, the two of them were walking into school together. And by Wednesday lunch, Rosie had apparently also decided that the drawing did look a little bit like a dog, which she found funnier than anyone else involved. Martin received this update on Wednesday evening over pasta. He thought about 4 words on a train. He thought about them again before he went to sleep. Thursday morning runs the same as Tuesday. 6:40, kitchen, kettle. Toast negotiations, today mercifully brief, Rosie in an accommodating mood. Tom downstairs at 7:12 without being called, bag already packed. The kind of self-sufficient morning performance that Martin has stopped commenting on, because commenting on it seems to embarrass him. Gate at 8:15. Tom goes in without looking back. Rosie turns both hands, every finger. Martin raises his. She goes. He stands at the gate for the usual 1 second longer than necessary. Then he walks to the station. He is 12 minutes early. He tells himself this is because he had an early start this morning, which is true. He does not examine it further than that. He is as a man who has spent 3 years not examining things that don't require examination, and he applies this principle now with practiced efficiency. He boards the 8:31, second carriage. Window seat. He opens his phone. The 8:31 is today running 19 minutes late, a personal record, noted without surprise. Martin answers the contractor email from Tuesday, checks Tom's football fixture, sends his mother a message confirming Thursday pickup before she sends hers. He does not look up at the carriage doors. He is not watching the carriage doors. At 8:34, Kate Brennan boards the train. She sees him before she sits down. There is a half-second of recognition, the specific expression of someone who is pleased to see a face they were not entirely certain they would see again. Not surprised, just pleased. She sits down across from him with the easy movement of someone settling into a familiar arrangement. "How's the horse?" she says. Martin looks up from his phone. "Fully rehabilitated," he says. Amelie has formally acknowledged that it was a horse. Diplomatic resolution, Kate says. The best kind. And just like that, as easily as that, with no preamble, no warm-up, no performance of 2 people who don't know each other pretending to get acquainted, they are talking. It is easier than Tuesday. Not because they know each other better, though they know each other a little better. Because Tuesday established something that Thursday is simply confirming. They are good at this. At the specific rhythm of conversations that doesn't require maintenance or careful navigation. That just goes. She asks about Tom. Martin tells her about the football, the self-sufficiency, the way Tom has developed at 14 years old, the precise habit his father has of meaning things completely and saying them sideways. Kate laughs at this in a way that suggests she recognizes something in it. Though she doesn't say what, she talks about her Year 9 class. Currently reading Of Mice and Men. Currently having the specific crisis of feeling things about literature that they absolutely did not sign up to feel and are finding very inconvenient. There was a girl on Friday, she says, who cried about Lenny and then spent 4 minutes insisting she had something in her eye. Martin finds this funnier than he expects to. I want to stop here for a second, because I think some of you know exactly what this feels like. That specific relief of finding someone you can just talk to. No effort, no performance, just easy. If you've ever had that. A stranger, a colleague, anyone who arrived when you weren't expecting and just made things lighter. Tell me in the comments. I want to hear it. Piccadilly arrives. They get off together. Not by arrangement. Just by the natural movement of two people who have been talking and continue talking as the carriage empties and the platform appears and the morning crowd flows around them. They walk toward the barriers together, without discussing it, without deciding to. At the point where the platform splits. East toward her school, west toward his office, they stop. Neither of them moves immediately. A beat. I'm here Tuesdays and Thursdays, Kate says. Usually the 8:31. Me too, Martin says. Same carriage. She looks at him. I know, she says. Second from the front. Window seat. Martin is quiet for a moment. She has noticed, not just today, before today. She has been on this train on these days, and she has noticed which carriage he boards and where he sits. Noticed and remembered, and said nothing until this exact moment, on a Thursday platform, when it was the right thing to say. He notices that she has noticed. She walks east, he walks west. He spends the entire morning. The contractor call, the 9:30 meeting, the lunch he eats at his desk without tasting, thinking about one thing, not the conversation. Not the horse, or Lenny, or the Year 9 girl who wasn't crying, the carriage. Second from the front. Window seat. She knew which carriage. Tell me, have you ever noticed someone before they noticed you? That specific moment when you realize the attention was already there, quietly, before either of you said anything. Drop it below. I read everyone. 6 weeks, 12 journeys. 20 minutes each, give or take, depending on whether the 8:31 is running its standard 16 minutes late or has found some new variation to explore. Martin has stopped tracking the delay. He has also, without noticing exactly when, stopped minding it. They are not dating. Neither of them has used that word or any word close to it. They are two people who take the same train on the same days and have found, without deciding to, that the second carriage has become the part of the week that both of them arrive at the platforms slightly early for, without discussing this, without acknowledging it. Just, earlier, consistently, in the way that people are early for things they want. They learn each other in installments, twice a week, 20 minutes at a time. The specific pace of commuter train conversation, no pressure, no occasion, nowhere to be except the next stop, which turns out to be, Martin thinks one Thursday morning in April, the best possible pace for this. Whatever this is, he learns that Kate grew up in Belfast. Moved to Manchester at 18 for university. Stayed for a man at 23. Stayed after the man at 27. Because she had built a life city that turned out to be considerably better than the relationship it was organized around. He learns that she is the middle of 3 sisters. That the sister with the daughters, the source of the Tuesdaysism, the woman behind Tell Her You're on Her Side, is called Fianuwala, lives in Dublin, and calls Kate every Sunday morning with a level of detail about the girl's lusts that Kate describes as simultaneously exhausting and completely irreplaceable. Martin laughs at this. He is laughing more than he was 6 weeks ago. He notices this without examining it. She learns about Emma, not the drama of it, because there wasn't drama, just the shape. The Sunday afternoon conversation. Two people who understood clearly and without cruelty that what they had built together had stopped being what either of them needed. The arrangement that followed, workable, decent. The children moving between two houses with the resilience that children deploy when the adults around them are honest and consistent. Which is the standards of these things, about as good as it gets. And still, Martin says, in the small hours, sometimes, quietly sad, Kate doesn't fill that pause with reassurance. She just lets it be what it is. He notices that too. He tells her about the open door policy. His door, Rosie's door, both of them sleeping with them open. He doesn't explain why. He doesn't need to explain why. Kate is a person he has come to understand, who receives the things that aren't said as clearly as the things that are. She just nods. Sense, she says. And it does. And somehow that is enough. On a Thursday morning in late April, a morning that has finally definitively decided to be spring, the light through the carriage window actually warm for the first time since March. Martin thinks, she is the easiest person I have talked to in years. He thinks about what to do with that. He thinks about it on the train. At his desk, at the school gate at 3:15. During the bedtime stories, during the dishes, during the specific quiet of the house after Tom and Rosie are asleep, and the evening belongs entirely to him, and he doesn't quite know what to do with it. He thinks about it so consistently and so thoroughly that it begins to affect his breakfast presence. Tom notices first. Of course Tom notices first. 14 years old, self-sufficient, his father's son in every way that matters, including the way that involves paying close attention to things and saying nothing until the right moment. The right moment arrives on a Wednesday morning over cereal. Dad, Martin looks up. Are you all right? Tom says. You've been weird for like 3 weeks. Martin sets down his mug. I'm fine, he says. Tom gives him a look. It is the specific look of a 15-year-old who has heard I'm fine deployed as a conversation ender many times before and has stopped accepting it at face value. Okay, Tom says. He goes back to his cereal. 10 seconds pass. Without looking up, without inflection, with the casual precision of someone who has been waiting for the right moment and has decided this is it. Is it a girl? Martin stares at his son. Tom eats his cereal. The kitchen is quiet except for the radio and the specific sound of a 14-year-old not making a big deal of something while making an enormous deal of it. It might be, Martin says. Tom nods slowly. The nod of a scientist whose hypothesis has been confirmed by the data. Good, he says. You've been weird for longer than 3 weeks, actually. He finishes his cereal, puts the bowl in the sink, picks up his bag, and walks out of the kitchen with the easy confidence of a boy who knows his father will figure it out. Martin sits at the table, looks at the empty cereal bowl, thinks about a woman who knew which carriage, thinks about spring light through a train window, thinks about the easiest conversation he has had in years, happening in 20-minute installments, twice a week, on a train that is always late. He picks up his mug. The tea is still warm. He drinks it and starts thinking about Tuesday. First week of May. Martin has a plan. It is a simple plan. He has revised it 4 times in the past week. On Thursday evening after the children were asleep. On Saturday morning during the school run. On Sunday while making pasta. And again on Monday in the specific quiet of his desk at 11 a.m. when he should have been reading a contractor specification and wasn't. The plan is this: at Piccadilly, on the platform, after the barriers, he will suggest coffee. Not a date. He will not use that word, will not go anywhere near that word because the word carries weight that the thing itself doesn't need yet. Just coffee. Near the station, before work, casual. Low stakes. The kind of suggestion that, if it lands wrong, can be absorbed without damage. He is not willing to damage the Tuesday-Thursday thing. That is the non-negotiable. Everything else is revision. He boards the train. Second carriage. Window seat. The morning running standard version. Gray. Functional. The commuter crowd settling into their phones and their coffees and their collective performance of not being there. Kate is already in her seat. Book open on her lap. The same focused quality she brings to everything. Reading, listening, the year 9 class, a 12-year-old's crisis on a phone. Present in whatever she is doing, with a completeness that Martin has come to recognize and has no adequate word for. She looks up when he sits down. And something in her expression is different. Not alarmed, not upset in the visible surface way. Just carrying something. The way people carry things they have decided not to put down in public. Martin knows this particular carrying very well. Okay, says. She is quiet for a moment. My mom's not well, she says. Nothing critical. She's in hospital in Belfast, but they say it's not serious. I can't get there until Friday because of the exams, and I can't leave the kids in the middle of it, and I know she's fine. I know that, but... She stops. Looks out the window. But it's 3 a.m. in your chest, Martin says. Even if it's fine. Kate looks at him. He learned that language 3 months ago. A hospital ward at 3:17 a.m. A night shift nurse named Raymond who pulled a chair from the corner of the room and sat down and knew, without being told, that the fear at 3 a.m. is not a symptom. It is just 3 a.m. It turns out the language is transferable. Yes, Kate says, exactly that. The plan evaporates. Not with reluctance, just it goes. Because the platform and the coffee and the careful, low-stakes navigation of something he doesn't want to damage is one kind of Tuesday. And this is a different kind. And Martin Walsh has learned, slowly, expensively, in a hospital courtroom and a school gate, and 3 years of doing this alone, that being present is more useful than being careful. They talk for the whole journey. Not about solutions. There are no solutions. Friday is Friday, and the exams are real, and her mother is sitting up in a Belfast hospital bed having opinions, which Kate says is a good sign because her mother always has opinions, and the absence of them would be considerably more alarming. Martin talks about his own mother, the surgery 3 months ago, the drive from Leeds at 6 in the morning, the 6 hours in the waiting room that his mother spent doing what his mother does. Fussing, confirming, making herself useful in all the ways that are slightly maddening and entirely irreplaceable. The way he told her, twice, that she could go home. The way she didn't. I've never been more grateful for anything in my life, he says. Kate is quiet for a moment. She knew, she says. Yes, Martin says. She knew. Piccadilly, they get off together, walk the platform together. The crowd moving around them in the morning rush, purposeful and indifferent. At the split east and west, her school and his office, they stop. Martin looks at her. She has her coat on, bag over her shoulder. She is standing on a Manchester railway platform, looking at him, with the expression of someone who is tired of performing fine, and has temporarily run out of the energy to keep doing it. The plan is technically still available. He doesn't use it. Get to Belfast on Friday, he says. Simple. No performance, no careful construction. And call me when you get there, if you want. He takes out his phone, gives her his number. Not with ceremony, just hands it across the way you hand something they need. She looks at it, looks at him. I'll call you Friday, she says. She walks east. He walks west. Friday evening, 7 p.m., Martin is at the kitchen table. Tom is washing up, doing it properly, without being asked the way he does most things. Rosie is at the other end of the table drawing something that involves a significant amount of orange crayon. His phone rings. Belfast number. He answers before the second ring. Kate's voice comes through from a hospital corridor, the specific acoustic of linoleum floors and low lighting, and the background hum of a building that never fully sleeps. Her mother is sitting up, talking. She has strong opinions about the food. That's a good sign, Martin says. It really is, Kate says. They talk for 40 minutes. He is still at the kitchen table when he hangs up. Tom has finished the washing up. Rosie has finished the drawing. The house is quiet in the warm way, the way it is quiet when everyone is in it and accounted for and fine. Tom raises an eyebrow from across the kitchen. The girl, he says. Martin looks at his sons. Yes, he says. Tom nods. The slow, satisfied nod of a 14-year-old whose reading of the situation has been comprehensively confirmed. He goes back to drying the dishes. Martin sits at the table, thinks about a plan that lasted 40 seconds, thinks about what happened instead, still warm. September. 6 months since a Tuesday in March when a 12-year-old cried about a horse, and a woman looked up from her book at exactly the right moment. 6 months. It doesn't feel like 6 months from the inside. It feels like the kind of time that moves differently when the thing filling it is good. Faster than it should, fuller than you expected. Leaving you at September, wondering how March got so far away so quickly. Martin's kitchen. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. The radio is on, something from the weekend breakfast show, low enough to be background, present enough to fill the room. The smell of toast. The specific warm chaos of a house with 2 children and no particular schedule, and nowhere anyone has to be until later. Rosie is at the table. She is describing, at length and with the full dramatic apparatus of a 12-year-old who has found an audience, a dream she had last night about a talking fish. The fish, it emerges, had opinions. Strong ones, about the ocean, about fish in general. About a specific incident involving a crab that Rosie is describing with the narrative investment of someone who was personally there and found it formative. Tom is listening. He is doing this with the patient, slightly expression of a 14-year-old who has identified that listening is the path of least resistance and has committed to it fully. He eats his toast. He nods at the appropriate moments. He is, Martin thinks, going to be a very good partner to someone one day. Kate is at the stove. She is making eggs. The way she does everything, with focused, unhurried attention. No performance, no rush. The same quality she brought to the book, on the train, and the Year 9 class, and the 40-minute phone call from a Belfast hospital corridor on a Friday evening in May. She arrived an hour ago with a bag of shopping. This is how Saturday breakfast works now. Her turn, then his turn, alternating. An arrangement that evolved without discussion from the first Saturday in June when she came for coffee and stayed for lunch, and Rosie climbed onto the sofa beside her and showed her the horse drawing. The actual drawing. Framed now, in the full knowledge that it looks a little like a dog, which is part of why it is framed. By July, Rosie had announced, to Kate directly without preamble on a Sunday afternoon, that Kate was her favorite of all Dad's friends. Tom had said nothing. Tom had simply, quietly, started setting an extra place at the table on Saturday mornings without being asked. Martin stands in the kitchen doorway. He does this sometimes. Stands here for a moment before anyone notices him. Not from any calculated impulse. Just because the view from this doorway, on a Saturday morning in September, is something he wants to take the full picture of before it moves. His kitchen. Kate at the stove. Tom eating. Rosie narrating, the radio, the toast. The talking fish and its opinions about the ocean. He thinks about a Tuesday morning in March. A train running 60 minutes late. A window seat in the second carriage. A phone ringing at 8:47, and the specific, particular helplessness of a father going in circles while his daughter cried. A woman who looked up from her book 4 words. He thinks about Raymond. A hospital room at 3:17 a.m. A chair pulled from the corner. 43 minutes and 1 sentence that turned out to be the most useful thing anyone said to him all year. It looks different at 7. It does. It looks like this. Kate turns from the stove. She sees him in the doorway. "You're going to let the eggs get cold," she says. Martin sits down at the table. Rosie, without breaking the narrative momentum of the talking fish story for even 1 second, redirects it to include him. She does this seamlessly, the way 12-year-olds absorb new audience members, completely, immediately, as if he was always part of it. He listens to every word. The fish, the crab, the ocean opinions. All of it. He does not look at his phone. He is not thinking about the contractor emails, or the Saturday fixtures, or the administration of a life with no white space. He is at his kitchen table on a Saturday morning in September, listening to his daughter describe a dream with the full attention of a man who has learned, slowly, expensively, gratefully, that this is the whole point. This is what the mornings are for. Tom catches his eye across the table. It is brief, just a look. The specific, wordless exchange of a father and a 14-year-old son who have been through something together and have arrived, without ceremonies, somewhere considerably better than where they started. No speech required, no acknowledgement needed. Tom goes back to his breakfast. Martin picks up his coffee, still warm. He holds that for a moment. Thinks about all the mornings he spent getting through rather than being in. The packed lunches, and the contractor emails, and the window seat, and the phone open before the train had even left the platform. The practiced, efficient, exhausting business of managing a life so well that nobody, including him, noticed how little of it he was actually inside. He looks at his kitchen. Kate at the stove. Tom eating, Rosie talking, the radio, the toast. He is completely, entirely, unhurriedly here. Not every story begins with a plan. Some of the best ones begin with a train running 16 minutes late, with a 12-year-old crying about a drawing of a horse, with a stranger who looks up from her book at exactly the right moment and says exactly the 4 words that were needed. Martin Walsh wasn't looking for anything that Tuesday morning. He was just trying to get his daughter to stop crying. He got considerably more than that, and so it turns out did she. That's the story of Martin Walsh, a man who was managing everything perfectly. Everything except the part where he let someone in. If this story found something in you, if you recognized Martin or recognized yourself in the people around him, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment. Even just 2 words. This channel exists for the people who feel these stories, and I read every single one. And if there is someone in your life, a stranger, a colleague, someone unexpected, who showed up at exactly the right moment and said exactly the right thing, tell me about them. Some people deserve to be talked about. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is your sign. There are more stories like this one waiting for you. Thank you for staying until the end. It means more than you know.